One of them is the most venomous scorpion in North America, and it can fit on the face of a coin. One of them will chase you across a football field, and it has killed more people in the Southwest than every rattlesnake combined. And one of them carries a venom so strange that scientists turned it into a blockbuster drug now taken by millions of people around the world. 3 animals. One question. What do they have in common? They all live in the same place, the Arizona desert, and they are only the beginning. The Sonoran Desert doesn't look dangerous. Sunbaked still, dotted with towering saguaros, it can feel almost empty. But it is one of the most venom-rich landscapes on the entire planet, home to more rattlesnake species than any other United States state, the deadliest scorpion on the continent, the only venomous lizard in the country, and a whole lineup of biting, stinging, striking creatures that most people walk right past without ever knowing they're there. We're going to go through every dangerous animal in the Arizona desert one by one, what it is, what it actually does to you, and how worried you should really be. And by the end, you'll understand a truth that surprises almost everyone. The animals that sound the scariest are usually the least of your problems, and the ones that actually send people to the hospital are the ones nobody ever thinks about. But first, one piece of vocabulary that matters, because people get it wrong constantly. Venomous is not the same as poisonous. Poison is something you eat or absorb that harms you. Venom is something an animal injects into you, through fangs, a stinger, or a bite. Almost every creature on this list is venomous, not poisonous. And here's the frame to carry the whole way through. In the desert, the danger of an animal has almost nothing to do with its size, and almost everything to do with its chemistry and its temper. Keep that in mind. Let's start with the one everybody fears first. The rattlesnake. You can't talk about danger in Arizona without starting here, because Arizona is the rattlesnake capital of the United States. 13 different species live in the state, more than anywhere else in the country, from the sidewinder that throws itself sideways across the dunes to the aptly named Arizona black rattlesnake. And they announce themselves that dry, buzzing rattle is one of the most recognizable warning sounds in nature, a courtesy most predators never offer. 2 of them matter most. The western diamondback is the big irritable one you picture, thick-bodied, up to 4 or 5 feet long, and responsible for more bites than any other snake in the state. Largely because it's common, it's bold, and it stands its ground instead of fleeing. Its venom is hemotoxic, destroying blood and tissue and causing rapid, agonizing swelling around the wound. But the one to truly respect is the Mojave rattlesnake, sometimes called the Mojave green, which carries one of the most potent venoms of any rattlesnake in North America. A rare neurotoxic cocktail that attacks the nervous system itself and can quietly interfere with breathing hours after the strike. Here's the reassurance though. Fewer than 1% of rattlesnake bites are fatal, and Arizona hospitals stock excellent antivenom. The rattle is a gift. It's the snake begging you to back away. And a startling number of bites are what doctors grimly call illegitimate. They happen when someone tries to catch, kill, or pose for a photo with the snake, often after a few drinks. Give a rattlesnake a few feet of space, and it wants nothing more than to slither off and be left alone. There's one more snake worth naming quickly, the coral snake, a small, secretive burrower banded in red, yellow, and black. Its venom is neurotoxic and, drop for drop, closely related to a cobra's, but the snake is tiny, its mouth and fangs are small, and it's so shy and reluctant to bite that it poses very little real threat. Remember the rhyme, red touches yellow, dangerous fellow. The next animal offers no rattle, and it's far smaller, which is exactly why it hurts more people. The Arizona bark scorpion. This is the one hiding in the house. The Arizona bark scorpion is the most venomous scorpion in all of North America, and it's tiny, barely 1.5 inches long, pale and translucent, small enough to perch on the tip of your finger. It's also the best climber of any scorpion, which means it doesn't stay in the desert. It comes up walls, across ceilings, and into homes, tucking itself into shoes, laundry, and bedsheets. Its sting is genuinely awful. A searing pain, numbness, and in bad cases, muscle twitching, difficulty breathing, and strange, jerking eye movements, especially in children. And they are everywhere. Arizona's poison centers field around 20,000 scorpion sting reports every single year. They have 2 eerie tricks, too. The first is that they glow. Under a black light, a bark scorpion lights up an electric, ghostly blue-green, which is exactly how homeowners hunt them at night. The second is that they can cling to almost any surface and squeeze through a gap the width of a credit card, which is how they end up in second-story bedrooms and hanging from ceilings. But now the honest part, and it's a big one. Despite all of that, there has not been a confirmed scorpion sting death recorded in Arizona in over 40 years. There's even a dedicated anti-venom now for the worst pediatric cases. More than 95% of stings cause only minor, if thoroughly miserable, symptoms. It is the perfect example of this whole video's theme. Terrifying, painful, incredibly common, and almost never actually deadly. The next creature has the scariest name of all. It barely deserves it. The Gila monster. Say the name and people picture a nightmare. The Gila monster is the largest lizard native to the United States, and one of only a handful of venomous lizards on Earth. A heavy, slow, beaded creature painted in warning colors of black and orange. Native Apache legend held that its breath could kill. And its bite is no joke. Unlike a snake that strikes and releases, a Gila monster clamps down and chews, grinding venom into the wound and holding on with a bulldog grip, producing pain often described as among the worst in the animal kingdom. And yet, it is one of the least dangerous animals on this entire list. Why? Because it is slow, shy, and wants nothing to do with you. It spends around 90% of its life underground, and it only bites in desperate self-defense, almost always when someone tries to pick it up. There is no reliable record of a healthy adult being killed by one in modern times. But here's the twist that makes this humble lizard extraordinary. Its venom contains a compound called Exendin-4, and in the early 1990s, a scientist at a Bronx 5A hospital studying how this lizard could go months between meals while keeping its blood sugar stable realized the molecule could regulate blood sugar in humans too. The lizard's version of the hormone lasted for hours, where the human version broke down in about 2 minutes. That single discovery led directly to a class of drugs you have absolutely heard of, the GLP-1 medications, the lineage behind Byetta, and eventually Ozempic and Wegovy, now used by millions of people for diabetes and weight loss. The scariest sounding animal in the desert turned out to be one of the most medically important animals alive on the planet. Now, from the wildly overhyped to the genuinely underestimated. The Africanized honeybee. Here is the animal that actually kills people and hardly anyone is afraid of it. Africanized honeybees, the so-called killer bees, spread into Arizona decades ago, and they now dominate much of the state's wild bee population. Individually, their venom is no stronger than a regular honeybee's. That's not the danger is their temperament. Africanized bees are ferociously defensive. Disturb a hive, sometimes just by running a lawnmower, revving a weed trimmer, or slamming a door nearby, and they erupt by the hundreds or thousands. They stay agitated far longer than ordinary bees, and they will pursue a person for a quarter mile or more, even waiting near water where a victim tries to hide. People have died from massive, overwhelming numbers of stings, hikers and homeowners caught by a hidden colony in a wall or a saguaro. Pets and livestock, unable to outrun them, are killed nearly every year. In terms of actual human deaths across the Southwest, bees and wasps consistently outrank every snake, scorpion, and spider on this entire list. The lesson of the desert, delivered by one small insect. The thing most likely to hurt you is not the fanged monster you fear, but the common little animal you never bothered to take seriously. Speaking of small and dangerous, let's talk about the spiders. The black widow and the recluse. Arizona has 2 spiders worth knowing. The first is the famous one, the black widow, glossy black with that unmistakable red hourglass on her belly, lurking in woodpiles, garages, sheds, and the undersides of patio furniture. Her venom is a neurotoxin roughly 15 times stronger, drop for drop, than a rattlesnake's, and a bite can bring severe muscle cramping, pain, and sweating. But she injects only a tiny amount. She's not aggressive, and deaths are extremely rare. The second is quieter and in some ways nastier. The desert recluse, Arizona's version of the brown recluse. Its venom can, in a fraction of cases, kill the tissue around the bite, creating a slow, ulcerating wound that's stubborn to heal. But recluses are shy homebodies that hide in undisturbed corners, closets, and boxes, and they bite only when trapped against skin, pulling on a stored boot, reaching into a forgotten glove. Respect them, shake out your shoes, and the risk drops to nearly nothing. Now for a couple of creatures that look like they crawled out of a horror film. The giant desert centipede and the tarantula. The giant desert centipede is the stuff of nightmares to look at. Up to 8 inches of armored, rippling body, a blur of legs and a pair of venomous pincers at the front that can deliver a bite intensely painful to a human. It hunts at night, it's fast, and it will bite defensively if grabbed. It won't kill a healthy adult, but the pain is memorable, and it earns its place purely on menace. And then there's the tarantula, the icon of desert dread that in reality is a gentle giant. Arizona's tarantulas are large, hairy, and slow, and their venom is weaker than a bee's. A bite is possible if you truly provoke one, and they can flick tiny, irritating hairs from their abdomen as a defense, but they are shy, docile, and no real threat to people at all. There is one creature that hunts them, though, and it's worth a mention: the tarantula hawk, a huge metallic wasp whose sting is rated among the most excruciating on Earth, several minutes of pure, blinding agony. It's not deadly, and it's not aggressive toward people, but if you're ever stung by one, entomologists have genuinely one piece of advice: lie down and scream so you don't hurt yourself. The tarantula and its hunter are the desert's most misunderstood residents, proof again that scary-looking and actually dangerous are two very different things. Now let's leave the small creatures behind, because a few large ones deserve a word. The big ones, mountain lion and javelina. The desert has heavyweights too, though your odds of trouble with them are small. The mountain lion, the puma, is the ghost of the Arizona backcountry, a powerful ambush predator that can bring down a deer. Attacks on humans are genuinely rare. The cat almost always sees you long before you'd ever see it, and slips away. But it's the one animal here that could, in principle, view a lone person as prey, which is why it commands real respect in remote country. The other is one people never expect, the javelina. It looks like a wild pig. It's actually a peccary, and it travels in herds through desert washes and, increasingly, suburban neighborhoods drawn to gardens and garbage. Javelinas aren't predators and won't hunt you, but a startled or cornered herd, especially one with young or one that's been fed by people, can turn defensive fast, and their sharp tusks can inflict serious wounds on a person or, more often, a dog. They're a reminder that dangerous doesn't always mean venomous. Sometimes it just means big, nervous, and armed with tusks. And there's one last danger that isn't an animal at all, but kills more people in this desert than everything on this list combined: the heat itself. The Sonoran can climb past 115 degrees, and every summer it takes the lives of hikers who underestimated it, ran out of water, misjudged the distance, or set out at noon in July. No venom, no fangs, no warning rattle. It's worth saying plainly, because the desert's deadliest force is the one that doesn't move at all, so line them all up, and the Arizona desert reveals its strange, honest shape. The animals with the fearsome names and the horror movie looks, like the Gila monster, the tarantula, and the giant centipede, are almost harmless. The famous killers, the rattlesnakes and the black widow, are dangerous but shy and rarely fatal with modern medicine. And the creatures that actually put people in the ground are the ones nobody dreads at all: the common defensive honeybee, and simple bad luck with a hive. The scorpion that terrifies an entire state hasn't killed anyone there in 40 years. And the monster whose breath was once believed to be lethal is now saving lives in the form of a medicine. None of this is a reason to fear the desert. The overwhelming truth of the Sonoran is that these animals want nothing to do with you. They hide, they warn, they flee, and they bite, or sting, almost only when startled, cornered, or handled. Watch where you put your hands and feet, shake out your boots. Leave the wildlife alone, and the desert is one of the safest wild places you can walk. So the next time someone tells you the Arizona desert is out to get you, you'll know exactly which animals to respect, which ones to leave in peace, and which quiet little creature is the one actually worth watching for.